Ashley Chesleen here, owner of Bella Foodie. I'm here today to talk about how to shop properly in the grocery store. I know most of us think we already know how to shop properly, and the grocery store layout really does lend itself to shopping in the proper order. But since the pandemic started, I've been using some of those instant grocery cart orders, and some of the shoppers have kind of told me that I've been teaching them some things. Because I had a shopper who happened to go from buying a few pantry items to straight to the dairy section, and they hadn't even gone to the produce. And I told them, I'm like, well, if you go straight to the dairy section and you haven't hit produce or the deli or meat, our dairy products could go bad, especially since it was over the summer when it was about 90 degrees. So I was a little concerned. They told me I taught them a few things, and a few other shoppers said that as well, since I taught them how to pick out some produce. Unfortunately, I'm a chef. I'm a little picky about my produce. What can I say? I do appreciate all the instant shoppers out there and all the people delivering things to us during the pandemic. I couldn't be more grateful. So I'm sorry I'm a bit of a pain. So I'm going to talk about this here and what I do when I get my groceries home, especially with Thanksgiving coming up and all the holidays we're going to be doing. Some of you are going to be first time people hosting. You're going to be doing it yourself with a smaller group, or it's the first time you've ever held a holiday in your home, or you just are missing some family traditions that you're just not going to get this year. So let's talk about it. When you first enter the grocery store, the produce is right there, and that's the first thing you want to hit. Produce lends itself to being the first thing in your cart, so that way if you're in the grocery store for a while, it does hold up and you don't have to worry about it going bad. When I get my produce home, I wash and clean it, and I put it either in a Ziploc bag or I put it in things like my glass Pyrex dishes that I own. I love these things, they're great. It also is a really great prep tool for Thanksgiving. You can chop up stuff, use the baggies, the freezer bags, because anything that's in this, you store it flat like this. If you lay it down on a sheet pan and you freeze it like that, then you can put it like file folders in your freezer and give up safe space, especially with all the food we end up buying for the holidays. So once we have our produce in, I put stuff in bowls, apples, pumpkins, anything like that. Great centerpieces. That way you don't have to buy extra things. Plus they smell great, these apples. All I can do is smell them. I have things like this, like my little honey nut squashes. They're so cute, aren't they? I keep these in the fridge till I'm ready to use them. I make sure that they're nice and smooth, especially if we're gonna get them. You wanna make sure there aren't too many blemishes, no weird spots, no nicks. Make sure any of the fruit or veggies you guys get right now don't have any nicks. So after you've moved on to fruits and vegetables, if you're a meat eater, head straight to the deli and get whatever you need there. I personally am a vegetarian, so I always skip that part. And we move ahead to the fish counter. If you've never bought fish before, or you're having trouble picking out a certain kind of meat, feel free to ask the people at the grocery store. They're always willing to help you. Most of them know what they're talking about and can help you pick out everything you need. And if there isn't something you have there, they can always order things for you. Or if there's meat that you want cut, like a bigger piece of meat at the meat counter, a lot of times they can cut it for you. So don't be afraid to ask. They also have knife sharpening for you. So when you go to the supermarket, ask about knife sharpening, and a lot of times it's free, especially with all the cooking we're gonna be doing for the holidays. This is a wonderful thing to have done. Those sharp knives are what keeps us from actually getting cut. Dull knives are the enemy of any good cook. So once we go through our meat, our produce, our meat, the bakery, if you're gonna buy any fresh bread, or a little treat for yourself later, no judgment, a little treat's always a good thing, especially these days. So we will move on to the aisles. We will go and get our canned goods, our non-perishables, cereals, bulk items, nut butters, whatever you need, any snacks or seltzers, that kind of stuff. You go up and down the aisles. Most people don't shop a whole whole lot in the aisles. If you want to keep a nice healthy pantry and kitchen and fridge, you want to shop the perimeter of the store and only go down a few of the aisles. That way it also helps you from impulse buying. That's where a list comes in handy. My handy dandy list right here. Every time I go shopping, I either use one of my apps or I use a list. Preparation is the most wonderful thing to do this time of year, especially for Thanksgiving and for Christmas cooking. So after we go to the perishables, we hit the dairy section. A lovely milk. Make sure we look for expiration dates. We never want to buy milk that's going to go bad, you know, the next day. We want to get our cheeses, our eggs, and make sure with the carts, if your cart's really full, make sure the eggs sit in the carriage. If you don't have a child in your carriage, it's a great place to put eggs or any delicate produce or vegetables or fruit that you have. Usually I put my eggs and my bananas there, things that I'm worried will get too squished. So before you leave, go over your list one last time, make sure you have everything, and hopefully this all helped you guys. I will have a few other tips underneath this video about cooking for Thanksgiving and a Thanksgiving timeline for shopping and cooking. Thank you guys for listening.